Satyapal Jain, head of the legal cell of the BJP, is joining us from Chandigarh. Hartosh Singh Bal, political editor of Open Magazine, is joining us from Delhi. Now, Randeep Singh Surjewala, leader of the Congress party, is on a line from Chandigarh. The live satellite link is not very good. I'm told Mr. Surjewala with you, but you're on the phone line. Good evening. I hope you're with us. Okay, so Mr. Surjewala will be representing the Congress party. We'll get him on a phone line so that we have a totally balanced debate. But my first question is to Hartosh Singh Bal. Now Hartosh, isn't it silly of the Congress party to constantly distance itself from Robert Vadra, saying he's a private citizen? You know, this private citizen argument that the Congress party is using vis-a-vis Robert Vadra, will it work?
No, it doesn't work. Nobody is buying it. I mean, you can pass it any way you want. When he walks through an airport, he is not a private person. When he gets a favor from a state government that an ordinary private citizen will never get, he's not a private citizen. Obviously, his relationship with the Gandhi family, his marriage to Priyanka Gandhi, that he's son-in-law of Sonia Gandhi, is essentially the point of the matter here.
Right. Okay. Mr. Surjewala, you're there. This is Arnab here. Good evening. Okay, we don't have the line yet with Mr. Surjewala. The moment we do, I'll get back to him. Satyapal Jain, the argument that he is a private citizen seems to be the government's defense in Parliament. And the government has also said that you want us to discuss Robert Vadra. We will, but after you agree to discuss the mining scam in Madhya Pradesh. The import is very clear. The logic is very clear. You start talking about relatives of our politicians, and we will start talking about relatives of your senior politicians. Do you accept the challenge?
See, the question is not of the relatives of the politicians. Any person against whom there are serious allegations of making false representation, getting sale deeds registered by undervaluation of the property, by submitting documents which are not genuine, maybe the relative may not be the relative of any politician or a non-politician, action should be taken against that person as per law. Unfortunately, some people are trying to divert the entire attention on this issue by saying, if you discuss the son-in-law of this man, why not the son-in-law of that man? If he's a relative, not the relative of other person, forget about the relatives, forget about all these things. The question is whether the allegations which have been leveled against Mr. Vadra, his deals, his land deals, his all other so-called scams, whether the allegation leveled are true or false. If it's a case on which even the land registration deed could have been cancelled, a case under section 82 of the Registration Act should have been registered against him, investigation held. Why this has not been held so far? Forget about whether he is a private person or is an official person. See, three facts are very clear. Number one, on 16th of October last year, before 16th of October, Mr. Khemka had objected to certain land deals entered by Mr. Vadra. The man is transferred from there. On 16th October, the Haryana government constitutes a 3-member committee who within just few hours give a clean chit to Mr. Vadra. It was after that Mr. Ashok Khemka take up the whole matter, and he gets all the files, though some of them have not been supplied to him as per the reports. Still, he has submitted about 200-page report to the Haryana government, which was submitted on 21st of May 2013. About 75-80 days have passed since then. The first question that the central government and Haryana government owes to the public at large is, what have they done on this report during the last 75-80 days?
And what is the credibility? There are two questions here. One second. There are two questions which emerge. Mr. Surjewala, good evening.
Yes.
Are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Surjewala, we don't seem to have a good satellite link with you this evening, but we must have you on the debate. Right? So there are two issues, Mr. Surjewala, we want an answer to, and I want to like to get back on this debate. We have Satyapal Jain of the BJP and Hartosh Singh Bal of Open Magazine. My first question to you, Mr. Surjewala, is that it appears the Congress party started to slowly distance itself from Robert Vadra. My first question to you, Mr. Surjewala, is it true that after your appearance on television yesterday, you were initially instructed by Congress leaders not to talk anymore about Robert Vadra?
I think this is as far from truth as possible.
Okay.
I was hearing Mr. Jain, and let me first say one thing. It's easy to rake up mud, to level false allegations. in our quest to sensationalize everything and in our desire to berate and paint everything with a broom. What two facts that Mr. Jain deliberately hides are these. With due regards to Mr. Jain, we have been colleagues in the Punjab and Haryana High Court. What he does not tell you, and what he does not tell your viewers, is that Mr. Khemka is posted as Director of Consolidation in July 2012. He refuses to exercise his powers as a special collector under the Land Stealing Act.
I have one second, Mr. Surjewala. No, Mr. Surjewala, 1 second, please. May I come in, please? I would like to. I would, of course, I would love to give you an opportunity to direct this and anchor the news. But I will not let you have that opportunity, Mr. Surjewala. You must answer my questions instead of putting counter questions. So my simple question to you, sir, is why was Khemka himself not heard by the committee during its inquiry? You want to have a fair inquiry, you must hear the man.
Arnab, if we have made up our mind that you are going to be a judge in your own...
No, I'm asking a question. Why was he not heard?
And if you have decided on the...
No, I am asking you a question, sir, Mr. Surjewala. Mr. Surjewala, you tell me. This is not a judgment. It's a very straight question.
You are only wanting to hear Mr. Jain. Why can't you...
No, I am asking you the question. I've asked him 2 questions because the Congress party is in the dock, isn't it, sir? Right? So I'm asking you...
You are absolutely... I think it's an absolute untruth.
Mr.
And based on a mere quest to...
Mr. Surjewala, you see, Mr. Surjewala, Mr. Surjewala, all this... Mr. Surjewala, please answer. Mr. Surjewala, are you not... Mr. Surjewala, please understand, okay? So I will ask you a question and then we have viewers watching on television that they can decide whether I am asking a question or passing judgment. Here is my question. And I also am telling you this, though this is a news program, you can't phone a friend, but I'm giving you the option here of dodging the question if you want to. My question to you is this, Mr. Surjewala. Why was Khemka not heard himself by the committee during the inquiry? Yes, Mr. Surjewala?
Yes, come again, please.
Why was Khemka himself not heard by the committee during the inquiry?
That is also a complete untruth. And if you are ready to listen, and Arnab, you are such a seasoned journalist, you must hear to date, you gave Mr. Jain ample opportunity. On 11th of July 2012, Mr. Khemka is posted as Director Consolidation. He refuses to exercise part of his powers. The High Court issues a bailable warrant against Mr. Khemka. The court orders that a special collector be appointed. Based on that order, on 11th October 2012, we transfer Mr. Khemka to another post. Till his transfer, he does not raise a little finger about any land dealing, about any individual. One day after his transfer on 12th October,
you are ascribing motive.
He started inquiry, saying that let us look at any land evasion by any company related to Mr. Vadra.
No.
15th October, 3 days thereafter, 4 days after his transfer, he passes another order cancelling a mutation between DLF and Mr. Vadra's company. I asked you, Arnab, you are a very fair journalist of this country. Why is that an officer post his transfer pick up 1 out of the 1,000?
Yes, the answer to you is answer is, Ms. Surjewala, though I don't want to get into a Q&A between you and me. The simple answer is you look at Khemka's track record. Khemka's track record is of an officer who has been a whistleblower, who's been fighting for justice, and who, in this case, decided to, step into the terrain of somebody who is extremely powerful. You did not answer my question, though I will not answer your question. I'll let Satyapal Jain answer. My question was, the order has severely and adversely criticized him without giving an opportunity to hear him. What kind of justice is this? And in this... No, 1 sec. Satyapal Jain wants to respond. Satyapal Jain responding to the Congress leader, Mr. Surjewala. Satyapal Jain, please.
I will reply to the question. You see, I have all regard for Mr. Randeep Surjewala. He is a very prominent lawyer and I appreciate his loyalty to the Congress as well to the Nehru family. See, the allegation now you are levelling against Mr. Khemka. Just for the sake of arguments, even if we admit everything to be true, even if it is true, the question is the irregularities and illegalities which have been pointed out by Mr. Khemka, do they get diluted by mere fact that he had some bias against the government? Number two, the question that you have asked, this three-member committee was constituted by the Haryana government to examine the objections raised by Mr. Khemka. This three-member IAS officer committee gives a report within few hours, I think it's within 1 or 2 days, without even calling Mr. Khemka, without even informing Mr. Khemka what to talk of hearing him, giving him an opportunity to explain his point of view. Third,
with due
when
regard,
Mr. Khemka starts writing about the report, just a minute. When Mr. Khemka started writing his note, he requested the Haryana government kindly supply me these files. And none of the files were supplied to him. He makes a mention of those files in his report.
Now the argument is...
So this Haryana government's only attempt in
the argument is...
somehow or the other to give a clean sheet to Mr. Vadra and suppress...
One second, gentlemen, one second. Mr. Surjewala, 1 minute. KTS Tulsi, welcome to the debate. Now, there is another point, though I will go to the politics of it is more significant, or whether the Congress can distance itself. You see, there is a check number 607251, yes, which is a check number, right? Now, that check number which is paid by Vadra, is that check true? Is that check false? Is that check legal? Is that check illegal?
Check is nowhere.
So, where is the check?
50 crores.
So, where is the check? So, my question is to Mr. KTS Tulsi, these are the issues that one should look at before castigating Khemka, isn't it? You have been lawyer in this case, but you also would agree these are the details that need to be answered. Mr. Tulsi, in the Robert Vadra case.
Arnab, I have not been able to understand the entire question because the connection is very bad. But what I want to say is that up till now, according to the law, it's not a crime to buy land, nor is it a crime to sell land. It's not a crime to pay before the sale deed. It's not a crime to pay after the sale deed. It's not an illegality even, what to talk of a crime. It's not a crime to forward sell the land even before the sale deed is registered. And it's not, so we can't change the law for the purpose of...
Mr.
Section 82 of the Registration Act, Mr. Tulsi, just for a second. Under Section 82 of the Registration Act, if you give false information, if you suppress information in the sale deed, it is an offence. And this offence, the punishment is up to 7 years. In this case, material facts have been suppressed, wrong information has been given, no consideration has been paid, this check shown doesn't exist at all.
Which material facts?
With due regard to you level a completely incorrect allegation.
Which material facts?
The inquiry officer decided the inquiry for 2 hours, while ample time was spent, over 2 months were spent in the inquiry. Mr. Khemka was given ample opportunity.
Mr. Khemka was not heard. Mr. Khemka was not heard. Randeep Surjewala, what are you saying?
He was not heard at all.
Mr. Khemka was not heard.
He was not heard at all by the three-member committee.
That is also a complete lie.
And there was Mr. Surjewala.
They are going to
Mr. Surjewala.
And I also want to tell you, Jain Saab, it is the same Mr. Khemka, and it is within your knowledge, when your government was in power in Haryana, was transferred 6 times.
Mr. Surjewala, are you saying, Mr. Surjewala, Mr. Surjewala, I don't allow that. No, 1 second, I must come in at this stage. The one thing we don't allow on the news, 1 second, Mr. Surjewala, listen to me, please, 1 minute. What I'm saying is one thing. This argument I don't believe in. Your scam is bigger than mine. Your scam, my scam. You transferred, I transferred. We keep transferring, we keep exploiting the system. It doesn't hold. The question is, there was no response from this so-called committee's chairman who was requested by Khemka to inform whether any representation, appeal or complaint was received from Robert Vadra or DLF or Omkareshwar Properties against his orders to cancel the mutation. There are some very solid facts here, Randeep Surjewala, which we are asking on the basis of. But I go back to a more political point, Mr. Surjewala, you tell me. You tell me, Mr. Surjewala. No, Mr. Surjewala, one second, Mr. Surjewala, I want to...
Order that was valid in law.
Mr. Surjewala.
Any institute roving inquiry by ordering collector of
Mr.
to look at land deals of one individual in complete...
Mr. Surjewala, on Times Now, I go to the political question. A political question is this. Please listen to me.
And if you do so, and if you put your reply on Wikipedia first and to comment later, are you being fair and just?
Well,
way that we are going to run it?
Well, let me tell you one thing. You know, the fact is documents related to Vadra and another deal with DLF, which India Against Corruption raked up, have been in public domain and reported in the media for a long time before the BJP picked up the issue. No. So don't look at it politically. Don't look at it politically. And I think the BJP is also taking... My question is political. If Hartosh, you know, has there been an unwritten truce, Hartosh, between the BJP and the Congress? And I'm being very candid, you know, because of, for example, you know, other people's names who have come up. You know, Ranjan Bhattacharya, for example.
Sure.
Right, Ranjan Bhattacharya's name came up in several, you know, allegations in much the same way that, and Ranjan Bhattacharya, for all our viewers, is foster son-in-law of Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Absolutely.
His name cropped up in several cases in much the same way that Robert Vadra's name has cropped up in recent. Is there an unwritten understanding between the two political parties of this country not to touch each other's family members?
Of course, I mean, look at the fact that Ranjan Bhattacharya's clout seems to extend into this Congress government. He is named prominently in the Radia tapes.
Oh yeah, he does.
As interceding on behalf of certain people with the family.
Oh yes.
Now, if you look at this whole issue, we have lawyers jumping into the question of criminality, deciding for us whether this is an illegal act or not. But much before that, what we have before us is the son-in-law of one of the most powerful individuals in this country, Sonia Gandhi, the Congress president, gains benefits or seems to have gained benefits from a Congress state government, and a senior official of the government is making these allegations. If on this basis we are not willing to inquire and investigate the matter and discuss it in Parliament, then we have lost something important in terms of public morality in this country. It doesn't matter what the BJP thinks or the Congress thinks. This is about how citizens of this country perceive. So
this can't be a private deal.
Political class. No, and it doesn't matter.
So it can't be a private deal between Congress and BJP, right? On whether or not, you know, the...
No, absolutely.
And I remember exactly, and I think we should call a spade a spade. Satyapal Jain, you won't like it, but I must tell you this. You ask Vinod Mehta, and you ask Hartosh Singh Bal, who knows Vinod Mehta well. What happened on 29th of May 2001, when the Outlook office was raided, the Outlook magazine office was raided 3 days after allegations against Ranjan Bhattacharya surfaced in their article. So, Mr. Satyapal Jain, you see, there have been attempts to intimidate the media also when it's been reporting upon the family members of powerful people, and I'm sorry to have to say this in your case as well. Your track record is not too bright, Mr. Satyapal Jain. You will concede that. You will concede that.
No, see,
you will concede that, I'm sure.
The question is that now, in the present case, a report by an officer who is an IAS officer, who is not a relative or who is not a patronage or who is not anything to do with any political party, has come on record. It is a counter report to 3 IAS officers' report submitted about the case. This case is a case of evasion of stamp duty, misrepresentation of the facts, concealment of facts, and according to Mr. Khemka, even documents have been forged. Wrong information has been given. This is a case which has no parallel in the entire judicial history, so far as I am concerned, my knowledge goes. Well, I have never seen a case where in such a case there is a document which has been forged. A check has been shown which doesn't exist, and of the amount of rupees 7.50 crore. Can we brush aside all this scandal just by saying that there was some attempt earlier also?
Well, I don't think there can be. You can't wish away the present by invoking the past. No, you can't.
Wash away the criminality.
No, you can't wish away the present by invoking the past. You can't do that. So there has to be an open discussion on this. Let's see if it happens in Parliament. We are following the story. As of now, it appears the government is defending Robert Vadra. The Congress is distancing itself from Robert Vadra, which I find interesting at both levels. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on debate number 2 on the Newshour tonight.